As thousands of U.S. forces get ready to leave Afghanistan over the next 6 months, two top lawmakers, one Democrat, one Republican, warning in a new report that the Taliban is actually growing stronger. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso reacts now, chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. And, sir, good morning to you. What do you mean the Taliban's growing stronger? Make sense of that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the president was just in Afghanistan last week and saying the tide had turned and momentum had shifted, but yet the bipartisan intelligence committee and the chairman, a Democrat from California, who just got back from Afghanistan, said, no, Mr. President, the Taliban is getting stronger. It is hugely concerning to the American people, and we want to get to the bottom of this and get the answers. We want it straight. We don't want the president telling us one thing and the intelligence committee telling us something very different.
This was the president's assessment last week in Kabul. The tide had turned, that we broke the Taliban's momentum. Is that not true?
Well, that's what the president said, and you know, I know the president reads the polls, and the polls say that 60% of Americans think he's doing a poor or fair job in Afghanistan. The concern is we don't want Afghanistan to be a haven for terrorist attacks. There's a new report out this morning, Bill, that talks about the release of these strategic detainees, bad guys who are being sent back because they've, quote, promised to not attack us again. It's very concerning. Osama bin Laden, the letters that have been released last Friday from before his death are telling the bad guys to go from Pakistan to Afghanistan to avoid being hit by U.S. drones who are attacking in Pakistan. The American people just want the truth, and we hear one thing from the president, who's focused on his reelection. We hear another thing from the Intelligence Committee, bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate, who've just gotten back. The American people want answers.
So our viewers know this is Dianne Feinstein, the Democrat from California, along with Mike Rogers, Republican from Michigan. She says, quote, I think we both say that what we found is that the Taliban is stronger. Now, there are 88,000 Americans fighting that war in Afghanistan now. Most combat troops are expected to leave by the end of the year 2014. Is it your expectation that this move would be reversed or not?
Well, the president's going to make that decision, but I wish he would make the decision based on the facts on the ground and what is the facts of the war, as opposed to his political timetable lined up to the election. When the president made a decision to remove all of the troops from Iraq against the advice of his military leaders, I would hope that the president would listen to the military leaders on the ground and make the decision that's in the best interest of the American people to avoid having Afghanistan become once again a haven for terrorists to use to attack us.
As you well know, Afghanistan is only part of the issue. The other part of the issue is Pakistan. Do you get a sense that we have made inroads with that government in terms of cooperation?
Well, you know, you take a look at the fact that Osama bin Laden was kind of hiding in plain sight in Pakistan. It does make you wonder if they were either incompetent or in cahoots. And here we are, just past the one-year anniversary of the death of Osama bin Laden. I think that the jury is still out on Pakistan. There's a lot more that needs to be done.
Do you think this administration is willing to work with the Pakistani government in order to get something done before the election? Because the point you're making is that the president's been distracted by his own re-election here.
I think the president is focused entirely on his own re-election. And I think when it comes to Pakistan, we've done some things to say, look, money that is going to Pakistan either is not going to go there or has to be used in a way to make sure we get the results that we need in Pakistan. And I think that the jury is still out on it.
Senator, I appreciate your time this morning. Keep an eye, too, on this American-held hostage. There's now a video out there. I'm certain that you're aware of it. If you have not seen it, we played it a bit earlier today. And we await the fate of that man, too, is being held somewhere in that country. Senator, thank you. John Barrasso on the Hill there.
Thank you, Bill.
You bet. Go to foxnews.com.